with the holistic nutrition.
It's basically, my shit to shift story and how important it is self-care and mindset. I was in a very toxic environment for quite a few years and having gained 12 pounds myself and then trying to take it off and it's like nothing's happening. It doesn't work anymore. And my nervous system was so out of whack. My cortisol was high and I was exhausted. So knowing that I needed to remove myself out of that environment and to make a new start, to reset and really establish, okay, it's not just calories in, calories out, and obviously getting off the sugar, just really being mindful, breathing exercises, meditation truly is really, really important. And then what's come of that is the one method.
Welcome to another episode of the What If You Could podcast. And my amazing, shimmering, beautiful guest here is Yvonne Cosell. Hey, Yvonne.
Good morning, Gary. Thank you for having me back. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Oh, yeah. We had so much fun last time, but we're really going to go there this time. So I can't wait to dive in. So, everybody, Yvonne is a sought after speaker in the field of holistic and culinary nutrition. And she's also an expert in fitness and movement, among a lot of other things, which we're going to discover today on our talk. She obviously has some yummy treats for us there. She has a lot of stuff to cover for the What If You Could podcast. So, Yvonne Cosell, what is your what if you could?
Well, Gary, what if you could stop starting over and start listening to your body?
Wow. I love that. I love that. Why don't we listen to our body?
I think the question really matters, especially right now, is because by the time New Year's Day arrives, people are running on empty. They've gone through, 6 weeks of poor eating, high stress, lack of movement, maybe more alcohol. Everything is off, especially their sleep. And then we show up January 1st. We expect to eat less, to move more, and our nervous system is just like, whoa, just wait, 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 wait. So instead of starting over again and again, let's talk about supporting the body first so change doesn't feel like a fight. And let's relook at it as supporting the nervous system. And then your body's able to handle so that you can get to where you want to go. So resetting the nervous system to set people up for lasting change.
I love that because isn't it crazy? We go, okay, we've got Halloween, so we're going to hammer a bunch of artificial flavors, artificial colors, tons of processed sugar, and all sorts of other chemicals, fake sugar, the whole bit. So we're going to do that in Halloween for a couple of weeks. Then we're going to go right into a Thanksgiving and just double down on just hammering our bodies with all sorts of crap during Thanksgiving. And oh, wait, there's more. Let's go into the Christmas. Well, I could eat because I'm going to start a new diet program after the first, so I could just eat and drink during all the Christmas parties and all the shit, right? And let's finish it off by getting hammered on New Year's Eve. But on January 1st, I'm gonna clean all this stuff up, right?
So it's
That
usually
doesn't
the hair of the dog on January 1st, and then we, maybe January 2nd, we start rolling out of bed, like, "Oh, let's just start on next Monday."
Yeah, and I think this year it was like 5 days before that Monday hit or something. It was a long time, and so there's that we just call it the wasteland, right? Between Christmas and New Year's, we don't know what day it is, what time it is, we don't know what we're doing. We're eating leftovers, and it's a complete disaster, but you've got a lot of great programs, between the movement, between the exercise, between the physiology, but also with the holistic nutrition. Um, I mean, you're covering a lot of bases, but you've kind of, I don't want to say stepped it up because you've always been a pro at this stuff, but you've kind of really even taken it deeper, it seems like, from our last conversation.
I have, and it's been a quite the magic carpet ride, to say the least, and what I have come out with is rebranding. It's called the One Method: Own, Nourish, and Elevate, and it's basically, my shit to shift story and how important it is self-care and mindset. And I was in a very toxic environment for quite a few years. And having gained 12 pounds myself and then trying to take it off, and it's like nothing's happening. None of it doesn't work anymore. And my nervous system was so out of whack. My cortisol was high, slightly depressed, and I was exhausted. So knowing that I needed to remove myself out of that environment and to make a new start, to reset and really establish, okay, it's not just calories in, calories out. How we're taking, sleep hygiene. I've always been a big sleep proponent. And obviously getting off the sugar. I've done that a long time ago, but just really being mindful, breathing exercises, meditation truly is really, really important. So, kind of stepping out of that toxic environment, putting myself first. And then what's come out of that is the one method. And that's 30 years plus of working with thousands of people and including myself to come to a point where this program is all encompassing and it really sparks lasting transformation.
So we have the one method:
Mhm.
own, nourish,
Um, and
and elevate.
yeah. So own your choices. Change doesn't start unless you can really have that honest conversation with yourself. Own your decisions, what goes into your mouth, what goes into your mind. Your mind can be a very dangerous neighborhood. So sometimes you don't want to go there by yourself, right?
I don't ever go there. It's too scary.
Too scary. So it's those little things, our nervous system remembers that. It's stored back there. So change does not come from a place of comfort. So really let's sit down and go through what's really going on and clearing that out, clearing the way and clearing the path for just a better life all around.
Man, I love that because they all have such big meanings, different meanings, like own. I mean, there's so much to the word own. We have to own our responsibilities. We have to own our healing of the past. We have to own shutting off the stuff. I mean, there's so much to the word own. It really is a great one to start with. And then nourish. I mean, nourish our body, nourish our soul, nourish our relationships. Um, there's so much to nourish, and then elevate. Why stay in something that's not the maximum that you could do? Why don't we try to elevate ourselves to the best that we can be, the healthiest we could be, the strongest we could be, the more stable in our brain, which is probably the hardest. But I love that. I love the one method. Those are all three really awesome words to go with.
And then your life will just naturally elevate when you've accomplished owning all of that, nourishing your body, mind, and soul. If you take in ingest crap through your mouth, through, food, you're taking in crap through watching the news every day. The three biggest stressors we have, or the two biggest stressors we have, are both related to our mouth. The words we say and the food that we eat.
I just love that. That's so true, and a- and then like you brought up the nervous system, and you brought up self-care, and really we just trash our nervous system. We by the things we hear, by the things we say, by what we let get to us, by the food we ingest. Like I was talking to a friend the other day, I'm like, dude, when's the last time you took your shoes off and walked on grass or earth? Right? I mean, it's been years. I mean, some people literally will go years without walking on grass anymore, right? It's like just that grounding, just that's so good for your nervous system. It's so good for your soul. But even those little things we're not even doing anymore.
Right. And that's one of the reasons why I loved living in Laguna Beach for so many years. I could walk the beach to my studio. I lived 2 blocks from the ocean. And you always had, I could put my feet in the sand every day and get grounded
Mm.
with those great electrons. And than traveling to the desert where there's all the wind and it strips the atmosphere of those negative ions, and negative is good. So people are not acting normal. You have to be more mindful of people driving. They're just kind of out of their minds a little bit because they're not right. It's a science to that. They need to get grounded.
When I go up to, that was always my dream when I was growing up. I said, I'm gonna have a little place in like Solana Beach or a little beach town, maybe even like, Carlsbad, something like that. And then a place in the mountains and a place in the desert because I just love the vibe of all three. Well, I never got the beach place. It's just too damn expensive. But we go to the beach a lot because we're divers. So we go to the ocean a lot. The ocean is so healing. It's incredible. But there's something about the mountains too. When you get into the mountains and you get into the air, it's like, wow, the air is different. The smell is different. But I just was talking to a fella who's a environmentalist, and there's some crazy research that the 5G or whatever that network crap is, the 5G, the chemtrails that people don't believe in, all the pollutants and stuff like that, forests have lost their scent
Mm.
around the world. He's going around the world and doing research on why trees are losing, and these are massive forests. So we're fighting a big battle, right? I mean, we're fighting a really big battle. So you're helping us with your one method kind of fight back against all these things that are destroying our body.
And there's nothing, unfortunately, we can do about the chemtrails right now. Hopefully, they'll take them out. Um, the Wi-Fi is always going to be there. I give talks about the wireless elephant in the room. These devices are all around us. And so we need to mitigate those so it doesn't affect us. It affects our sleep. It affects everything. And just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's not harming us. So
Uh,
I could call Lily over here, but what I have on my dogs, I have little EMF tags. So that blocks the radiation from them because animals, if they're inside all day, they don't get away from it unless you literally unplug the cord. This is called a safe sleeve from Safe Sleep Cases. It mitigates the EMFs by about 97%. So I could talk on my cell phone, still here, and I'm not getting the EMFs. I had the same thing for my laptop. I put my laptop on. So when I put it on my lap and working, I'm not getting the radiation in that area. They've done a lot of studies, and especially with children playing on the little black box on the games, testosterone. We're already at an all-time low of testosterone, and that's just making things worse. So there's
yeah.
things that we need to do to mitigate those problems.
Don't get me started on the youth and testosterone and
Okay.
estrogen. Don't even, I mean, we don't have enough time in this podcast. We need to cover all your awesome stuff. But I do want to just say that if we don't get this turned around as far as what's happening with our youth,
Yeah.
we're in serious trouble. The guys are no longer guys. I mean, you can't, they're not developing because of the food, the air, the water, the social media, like you just said, the laptops, the computers, the cell phones, they're just not developing. And people could try to ignore that fact or say it's bullshit, but they can't. It's just too obvious. And the same with the girls. So but let's get to what we can do for whoever we can, right? I mean, you can't save everybody yet. You will eventually when you're holding those 50,000 seat arenas like Tony Robbins or a rock star, then you'll help more. But so what are you doing with with the one method? What are you doing with the one method? Is it a one-on-one thing? Is it workshops? Or you have a book coming out? I mean, what are you doing with the one method?
Well, the book is on its way. So excited about that. But the one method is I have a 30-day reset, a 60-day rewire, and a 90-day transformation.
Oh,
And so you can go onto my website and then it explains all of them. You can sign up. We can work one-on-one together. and basically establishing, what is your sleep hygiene? Sleep's the foundation. If you don't have enough sleep, that's going to affect your hunger hormones. You're going to be more hungry. You're going to be irritable. You're going to have brain fog. So let's clean up that sleep first. Looking at your labs, what is your vitamin D level? What is your cortisol? Just the basics right there. And then we get into diet, of course. And most of the time, the best thing I can do is get people off of sugar because insulin is the hormone of aging. We're still having this conversation. We'll always have this conversation, unfortunately, and people are worried about taking that out of their life. And these are, I wish you were with me, Gary. Oh my God.
Me too.
So good. These are my red velvet mini bites, and they're made with beet powder, and they are all sugar-free, gluten-free, and the frosting on it is made with avocado. So there's 0 sugar. And then these are my, cinnamon rolls. They're made with we're gonna have to cut this 1 second. I forgot to take the toys away. Probably trying to steal the show.
I just thought they were looking for sausages. Those little guys they're out there looking for some looking for
I'll
some
say the S word. And okay, tell me. And so these are my new cinnamon date rolls, and they're not made with flour. They're made with egg whites. So 0 sugar, like literally 20 grams of protein. You can literally have these for breakfast because there's no sugar and there's protein. And
See that's why we were supposed to get together. Unfortunately, our schedules couldn't get us together because I'm supposed to be trying those
I
and
know.
eating, and we were going to do a cooking demonstration. So I don't want to drift off too far, but since you went there, what are those things behind you? What are those things behind
I grew up eating pasta. I also ran marathons. Right now, I have not earned my right to eat a lot of carbohydrates.
you?
As we age, we don't process foods like we used to. But this is Kaizen Foods, created by Erish. He lost 100 pounds eating pasta made from the lupin bean. So believe it or not, as you can tell, I got a whole stash full of I love
Now are you a spokesperson for them, or
no,
you just
I'm
love
not.
this stuff? Or you should be. I'm going to make some calls.
So each type of pasta and the rice, each serving has 20 grams of protein, 6 grams of net carbs, and 15 grams of fiber. And it only takes 5 to 7 minutes to cook.
So the lighting is bad, so I can't see the title. So how do you spell that?
AI.
Kaizen. And so Kaizen, and this is a product of rice, pastas, different stuff like that you've discovered that you can use to cook, and people don't feel like they're deprived from their pastas and their rices and stuff like that because it's actually healthy.
Especially if the kids, the mac and cheese, this is perfect for them. So what I did, Gary, I opened an account for Clark's Nutrition in Rancho Mirage. So you can
Mhm.
go buy it there. That's the only store in the desert you can get it in.
I loves Clark's Nutrition, so I'll have to go in there and see that. I'm writing that down. I can go to Clark's.
And
Um,
so on my
so
Instagram, I have a whole ton of recipes I've used cooking with this
on your what?
on my Instagram.
Awesome. Okay. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do.
Good.
It's
And
in my
you show some stuff on there? Okay, cool. Before we sign off, we're gonna get all your things like that. But I have to go back to sugar
okay.
because I've always told my kids since the time they could hear me whining was sugar equals death. So we didn't allow candy in the house. We didn't allow sodas in the house. And I got them reading labels at like, 3 years old. I'm like, look at this label, right? You think that this is just spaghetti sauce. It should be healthy. It's just tomatoes, right? It's got 40 grams of sugar in it, right? It's like, all right, I understand there are some Italian people who put sugar in their spaghetti sauce. I'm not one of them, but I understand there are people who cook sugar. But some of these bottled spaghetti sauces, so much
Right.
sugar. You look at the processed food, so much sugar. So people go, "Well, I don't eat that much sugar." I'm like, "Bullshit. Take a week, write down the labels, right?
Yeah.
And see how much sugar you're taking in. It's incredible what they hide the sugar."
Right, and that's what I always bring up in my presentations. I usually have a on every table, I'll have a bowl full of sugar cubes because each sugar cube equals 1 teaspoon of sugar. And we go through a typical day of I don't eat sugar. Well, what does that look like? Let's start with your Starbucks, your dessert in a cup, right? There could be
Oh,
10, 12, 15 grams of 15 teaspoons of sugar right there. And then we go on to maybe sushi for lunch and, all of the hidden stuff, the tomato sauce, like you mentioned, and they have to guess how many teaspoons of sugar. And then so usually a typical day is about could be 40 teaspoons of sugar. That healthy muffin that doesn't exist, that healthy orange juice, which is just sugar. And then I go through my typical day and we're eating pasta and we're having peanut butter cups from Lakanto, zero sugar made from monk fruit. So it's like they're like, wow, that's delicious. And then 6 teaspoons of sugar for the entire day, if that.
yeah. See,
All
that's a
all
massive.
about reading labels, and once once you learn it, you can't unlearn it, and if women stick with they should be easy numbers to remember. 6 teaspoons for women a day, 9 teaspoons for men a day, and so the magic number that you not wanna look at is 4. Magic number is 4, so you take a look at total added sugars divided by 4 because there's 4 grams of sugar in 1 teaspoon. So say if there's 24 um, orange juice, there's 24 grams of sugar in orange juice, right? Divided by 4 is 6 teaspoons of sugar. You're done.
Yeah,
Is it really worth it?
yeah,
You know?
yeah. It's amazing when you look at a lot of people's just breakfast. You go get a Flapalapa Mappuccino Latte Mocha whatever thingy from that place, and and then you look at one of those charts that just has sugar in a bottle, right? So you go Coca-Cola,
Mhm.
Sprite, Fanta, and then that thing that you just drank, and it's like this much sugar in a cup, and people go, "That can't be that much sugar." I'm like, "Dude, yeah, what you just drank thinking it's coffee has more sugar than 2 8-ounce Coca-Cola," right? And it's just and there's so many types of sugar in our processed foods. They hide it. You might look at the label and go, "Well, I don't see sugar on here." You go, "Really? Well, what's modified cornstarch? What's this thing? What's that?" They're all sugar. They just
Yes.
hide it with a different name.
Yes. It's so the less packaged and processed foods you eat, the better. Looking for that OSE, that's going to be sugar. But if you just eat less processed foods, you don't have to worry about it. I've been in a lineup with my friends and I'm like, "You know what? I'll pay you not to drink that. I'll pay you $5 to give me that and I'll toss it away." It's like when I go buy the sugar cubes from the grocery store, I feel like I'm taking crack off the street. And they're like, "No, I'd rather keep it. I don't want the $5." So what sabotages you, even alcohol, like, what it was the remember the 2 buck chuck?
Yes.
How
Yes,
2
I do.
bucks can completely derail your life.
I stopped drinking 5 it's gonna it'll be 6 years this May, just because my wife's over and she doesn't drink. She says, "Ah, well, if you don't drink, I won't drink," right? I had no reason to stop. I actually enjoy my wine. Um, but yeah, there's a massive amounts of sugar and alcohol. You see a guy drink a rum and Coke, and you go, God, you know how much sugar is in a rum and Coke or a pina colada? No wonder you've got such a headache. Your hangover is more from the sugar than it is from the alcohol." Um, and they just hide it. And the other thing, you talk to people, and I know you hear this a lot, people who you're able to help modify this. they go, "I don't even crave sweets anymore." I mean, if I eat something I used to eat, it's horrible. It tastes bad now to me, right? Because our bodies aren't naturally made to eat that type of garbage.
Right. And what I've learned for myself and for my clients is the more you learn and understand what that beverage or food does to your body, the less likely you're going to want it.
Yeah. I was lucky. I was blessed with that without a sweet tooth. I don't know why. I don't crave sugar. I don't crave desserts. But I do like a little square of my Lily's chocolate because Lily's has like no added sugar in their dark chocolate. So it's like a 78% dark chocolate with no sugar. And that's like my little treat after a lot of garlic, because garlic will do it to me. But let's skip to you've got these 30-day, 60-day, 90-day programs. And I know we all want a quick fix. And it seems like the new rage for a quick fix is I can't say the name, but you know the name, Ozempic or whatever they call it.
Ozempic,
What do they call that instant lose weight thingy?
Ozempic and the GLP-1s.
Yes, that thing. Um, what is your take? And I know I talk about this a lot. I get a lot of grief from people that get mad at me when I say be real careful with this stuff. But what is your take on this stuff, and what do you see going on with it?
I have a couple clients that were going to go on it, that did go on it, and they had horrible experiences. So I think we'll just start by, Dr. Lyon, Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. She is the one who discovered muscle centric medicine. And, as she put it the best, like these drugs are to weight loss what the iPhone has been to communication. It's that. She said it. And they're incredible tools for getting the weight off. However, that comes with a price. You, they're very effective, but 40% could be lean body mass. So it's our opportunity to reorientate the cornerstone for treatments towards sustainable health. Nothing replaces hard work. We've seen the HCG giants, we've seen all these pills along the way. This is just like the new form. Um, and Dr. Pompa, who is a leading voice in metabolism and cellular health, he focuses on the why. GLP is made in our gut. But our guts and microbiome are so unhealthy that our bodies aren't making it. So let's just inject it and override it. And what we're seeing is a lot of lean muscle mass. And what goes with that is the ability, we're losing strength, where people may fall more, get injured, increase risk of death. But not only that, have you heard of Ozempic face?
Yes. Yes, I have.
You're also losing the fat in your face that gives us those expressions, that makes us the beautiful people we are. And then Ozempic butt, even you're losing the fat in your behind. You can what do they ca there's another word for that. But you can
I
hide your
think it's called, I like big butts and I cannot lie. No? I
you
don't
gotta
know.
hide your
That
butt more than you can hide your face. So you
right, exactly.
so now you're getting Ozempic face, and now the people are getting all the fillers and the Botox. So it's like when does that end? And it was Dr. Rob Winfield, who's a plastic surgeon, and Dr. Pompa interviewed him. They did a podcast together. And he's seen all these people with Ozempic face coming into his office as a plastic surgeon, and they're just, it's just collapsed. That's why if you do it so if somebody is too large to work out, or they're bedridden, or their risks of getting a health issue or a health um, incident are very, very high, then let's get the weight off. Let's get 30, 40, 50 pounds off. Make sure we're feeding them the appropriate amount of protein. And when they can start moving, let's get them strength training. But what I see is they're just so happy to take your money, give you the injection, and then send you off. And the client of mine, she felt horrible after these injections because she wasn't digesting her food. Nothing was going through, and that slows digestion. So she was feeling even worse. So, got off of it, start with digestive enzymes. Her vitamin D was extremely low. Look at the vitamin D up. Her cortisol was low in all the wrong places. So, make sure the person is set up for success so they can actually use what's given to them. But when people get off of it, they're going to gain the weight back. That's why you need to, like I said, nothing replaces hard work. You can't outsmart Mother Nature. The body always keeps score. So, you
Yeah, and
have to
you can't outwork a bad diet, no matter what anybody thinks. But
know.
from what I've read and people I've talked to is you have two really dangerous battles with the GLP, whatever that thing is, Osmet, whatever. Um, One is it doesn't just eat the fat, but it eats the muscle, and the other is it shuts down your stomach. So whatever nutrients you are taking in, they're not being absorbed properly into the body. So even if you are starting to eat healthy because you feel like you're losing this weight, your stomach isn't functioning like it would normally function. So you could be eating the healthiest diet on that, but when you're taking that stuff, your body's not able to absorb and metabolize the nutrients like it normally was. So you've got these two things that you're fighting that are really a double-edged sword. I mean, pretty dangerous stuff.
Right, and I've always told my clients, you are not what you eat, you are what you absorb. And
Yeah.
with this, we're trading, obesity for sarcopenia. You know, we're losing the muscle loss as we age, and that's one of the biggest threats to long-term health, strength, and most importantly, independence. You know,
Yeah.
if you have a fall, break your hip, go to the hospital, the risk of you dying within 6 to 8 months is tenfold, depending on what your age is. So, muscle, as Dr. Lyon says, is the longevity of life. And the more muscle mass you have, the more calories you're gonna burn. So, you lose muscle, your metabolism drops, you're not losing the weight, and just, again, the US makes up about 4 to 5% of the entire population in the world. And we are the number one seller and consumer of pharmaceuticals, and we're the sickest country. So that's gotta say something.
It's pretty cut and dry, but people just want to ignore the most obvious thing in the world. That is like, how could you not see that? And how could you not want to do something? How long do we
Not
want to go down
common.
that? What's that?
Common sense is not common.
No, it's not. Now, because you are an expert in fitness and movement, I'm going to be 63 years old, and I was in good shape. And then I got two of the top killers. I got cancer and then a heart attack. So it's like, okay, I got those out of the way. That's good. That's good. Now I got another 40 years I could keep getting stronger. But I used to do a lot of weightlifting. And now I'm like, well, when I went through the cardio rehab at Eisenhower Hospital, I realized I've got to add more of the aerobic, keep the weights, but maybe change how I was doing the weights, going from the heavy weights, short sets, to lighter weights, more reps. But then I was talking to a doctor and he said, no. He said, even as you get older, you should still try to get in a heavy set and not just try to do, 15 reps of each. What's your take on that as we get older and we start trying to continue to get fit?
Yeah,
With the
that's
working out.
after teaching aerobic classes for 30 years, running marathons, I would and then going into the gym, I would always do my cardio first, and whatever energy I had left, I would save for the weights. It wasn't until, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, I really started taking strength training seriously. And so now I'll do 3 days a week, pretty heavy strength training, and then 20 minutes to 30 minutes of cardio. After having back surgery, I'm not deadlifting. My strength training looks a little, it's different, and everyone's different because everyone is showing up with something. So I'm not able to do a lot of the exercises that, everyone else can because of my back. So I'm doing more machines, walking lunges, Dr. Peter Attia had, you've heard of the hanging test? Have you done it?
Yeah.
Have you
Yep.
done it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I love his outlived book. I got it in the book and I got it on audiobook. I've listened to it a dozen times. I love that
A
book.
great starting point. Can you dead hang for a minute? And I'm like, I that was easy, thank goodness for me, but that's a good indicator. So absolutely having a heavy lift day, what your body can handle is great. And then, 2 to 3 times a week, and then do what you like to do. I
Yeah.
Pilates has saved my back. It's kept me in the industry all these years, but I'm just not on the reformer every day. I'm in that gym lifting the weights too. But the
Yeah.
cardio,
And it's really good for not just the muscles, but for your ligaments, your tendons, your bones. I mean, it's really the weight work. We thought if we just did aerobics like Jane Fonda 5 days a week and lost it, but really it's the weight work that strengthens your bones, strengthens your tendons, strengthens your cartilage, strengthens the muscle. It's pretty amazing what getting old people like me into the gym can really extend. And like you said, if you're doing the lunges, you're doing leg work, you're strengthening your legs and your core, the likelihood of you becoming a fall victim goes way down.
yeah, absolutely. Very important.
You are going to educate me on something that I've been wanting to look into, and I just haven't had the time to really go down that rabbit hole because I'm horrible when I don't just kind of like look at something and go, oh, that's kind of interesting. I got to go way down the rabbit hole. So let's talk about the new food pyramid
Okay.
um, that's come out. And again, I haven't even looked at it, but from what I understand is we've taken the old food pyramid and flipped it upside down and changed what was on the bottom to the top and vice versa. But I don't know. So what have you seen with the new food pyramid that the government's come out with, and what's your take on it?
Well, it's kind of starting with the story on what we were fed, no pun intended, years ago, like back in 1992. I always say if you want to look like the food pyramid, eat like the food pyramid. And originally, it was about calories. Back in 92, there was a fear around fat, eating mainly carbohydrates and grains, that sort of thing. And then in 2011, the My Plate came out, and it was more about portions. But dairy was on the side of the plate. Half the plate was fruits and vegetables, and then a quarter protein and a quarter of the grains. And now what we have is, the healthy protein and fats are on the bottom, and then the grains are at the top. Because heart disease is not a fat issue; it's a sugar issue. And dementia or Alzheimer's is the new type 3 diabetes. So again, like you said, sugar is a big culprit. And I like how they do more of an emphasis on protein. The original requirements were like zero point 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. Now it's up to about 1.2 so grams per kilograms. So if you weighed 150 pounds, they're recommending between 80 and 100 grams of protein, which, as Dr. Lyon would say, is still kind of low. It doesn't meet the threshold. So what I tell my clients, aim for grams of protein per pound of ideal body weight.
Hmm.
And once you start your day with protein and fat, you're going to be satiated. If you meet your protein requirements, you're really not going to have those cravings. Your mind's going to be alert and you're going to get so much more done. You're going to feel so much better. But if you start your day with carbohydrates, you're going to keep craving them the entire day. So really nail down, she says 30 grams of protein each meal. And that 30 grams, that hits your threshold for leucine. And leucine is an essential amino acid, which means our bodies do not make it. So we have to take it in. And leucine is essential for stimulating muscle growth. So you want to hit that 30-gram threshold to stimulate the leucine, and you're going to be satiated. So, if you're look at aim for grams per pound of ideal body weight, bookend your day with 30 to 40 grams of protein, and you'll be satiated. So now in the morning, I go, 2 or 3 slices of turkey bacon, an egg, maybe some egg whites, and a ton of vegetables. I'm completely satiated, and I, never miss my digestive enzymes because I wanna process that. Most people are deficient in, acid in their tummies, and what causes that is stress. Processed
Yeah.
foods. Our guts are so unhealthy, so we wanna do everything we can to support it. So, ideally, you wanna eat clean sources of protein, free range, grass-fed, um, and that's going to help with cutting down inflammation.
Yeah, inflammation's a killer, but you touched on so many things there, so I want to go back. But one thing I want to bring up before I forget is people don't realize that it's the lack of acid that gives you the indigestion. So people who are pounding Tums all day thinking they have too much acid in their stomach, it's the exact opposite. They
Yeah.
don't have enough acid. And people are like, when I tell them that, they're like, that's such bullshit. No, 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 no. I've got acid reflux. I go, no, dude, look into it.
Right.
It's the opposite. You don't have enough acid in it. The other thing is the fake foods, how they got us on margarine, don't eat butter, don't eat eggs, do this egg mixture thingy, um, which I don't even know if there's eggs in some of those egg thingies. Just go to the fake meat. I mean, it's such an insane thought process, isn't it? Let's get rid of whole foods and real foods that we've been eating for millennia, right? And now let's make it all fake crap. It's
Mhm.
bizarre how they were able to convince us to do that, right?
There's there's a narrative for any which way you wanna go, right?
Uh,
I
yeah.
kind of never I haven't swayed on my recommendations or it comes back to the same thing. Eat healthy processed foods.
Yeah, there's no labels on fruits and vegetables. Well, now there's
Yeah, no,
labels,
yeah.
like, because we don't know where it came from, but yeah, so the other thing I wanted to touch on, is the healthy fats, getting enough healthy fats, getting enough protein. I mean, I think most people don't. I mean, we're supposed to get 30, say, like you said, like 30 grams per meal. Most people don't even get 30 grams a day because everything they eat is so depleted of any natural protein. So for people who are on the go, instead of grabbing some garbage for breakfast, is a protein shake, throwing some protein powder in there, shaking that up with something in there, and drinking the protein powder, whey protein, whatever, pea protein. Is that acceptable? I mean, is that if obviously it's not optimal, but I mean, is that something that people can do who are on the go who are just trying to increase their protein?
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. I just don't recommend relying on 2 shakes a day, God gave us teeth for a reason, and when we chew our food, it takes more calories to burn it than just drinking. And I like to put my protein powder, there's so many great options. There's ratio protein yogurt, which is 28 grams per serving. You can now buy
Mm-hmm.
cereal like Catalina Crunch. It was created by a gentleman who has type 1 diabetes who loves cereal but can't eat the cereal from the sugar. Catalina Crunch has zero sugar, higher in fiber, higher in protein. There's so many great products on the market out there. But my clients, what'd you have for breakfast? Well, maybe a piece of sourdough with some avocado and some juice. They have no but people have no idea how much protein is in something. So I
Hmm.
encourage them to get a food scale. You don't have to weigh forever. Like right now I can eyeball pretty much anything. So you just start weighing and because, food's expensive, so weigh it out. Like I go to Costco and I get the prepackaged, it's all ready to go, the grass-fed, sirloin steak. Have you tried that? Isn't that great?
Hmm. It's
5 ounces,
delish.
30 grams of protein. I throw that in a pan with the broccoli. That's breakfast. I'm done. I'm good to go. I
Yeah.
would
Now you just brought up one of my breakfasts, and now I feel like I'm not. Maybe I'm letting myself down. One of my favorite after workout breakfasts is a slice of whole wheat toast, covered, smothered in olive oil with smashed avocado and a 2 fried eggs on it, or 2 hard-boiled eggs, usually just hard-boiled eggs, and then more olive oil. Is that is that not getting me where I need to go? Is that a bad mix of food combining?
I don't wanna say bad, it's in the amount, right? If you're looking at timing of the meal and the composition for you post-workout, you might wanna go more of a 3-to-1 combination ratio of protein to carbohydrates. Kinda leave the fat out for later. If muscle recovery is is your goal to reestablish the glycogen, the sugar in your muscles. And what people also don't understand when they cut the calories and they start losing the weight, it's mainly water weight because for every gram of water or every gram of glycogen you store in your muscles, that's the storage room of sugar in your muscles, you're storing 3 grams of water. So when you're
Mm.
dehydrated and taking that all out, the numbers are going down. But the success should be based on strength gains versus numbers lost on the scale. So to get back to your question, if you have a strength training workout, I would definitely go more towards carbohydrates and protein to repair the muscles and then save your fat for all the other times of the day.
So when I'm in a hurry, though, which I usually am, um, I just throw on some hard-boiled eggs, hop in the shower, get ready to go. The eggs are done because by the time I'm out of the shower and dressed and stuff, takes 12 minutes for my eggs, and then I just throw down the 2 hard-boiled eggs. Should I be adding a piece of toast with those 2 hard-boiled eggs?
The two hard, how many grams of protein does two hard boiled eggs have?
I have no idea.
12.
So, 12 each or 12 total?
12 total. So there's 10
12
grams of
total.
fat, 10 grams of fat in two eggs, and then two eggs has 12 grams of protein. So you might want to slide in maybe three pieces of turkey bacon. You know, each piece of turkey bacon has 3.5 grams of protein and a gram of fat.
I'm not a bacon fan, so I'll figure it out. But I do before I take to the gym with me a protein shake combo. I have a number of different powders that I throw into with the protein. So I think that protein scoop is 30 grams of protein. So I drink that with a couple other things that I throw into that shake. So I do that, you know, before and during the exercise, and then I follow up with the eggs. It, it's I know it's probably not ideal. So I should add some sort of other protein source to the eggs, basically.
About a half a cup or three-quarters cup of egg whites.
Yeah, I could just throw some more egg whites in there and do that. It's just a lot for me to eat. I don't like to eat a lot in the morning. I guess the other thing I could do is find some other um, cleaner protein source besides like the turkey bacon or something like that. In any case, we don't want to talk about meat. Um, just working on my day. I
Or
wanted
even
to
chicken,
get,
you could do a couple slices of that grass-fed sirloin steak from Costco in addition to your eggs, then you're done.
yeah, I could throw that in there. Um, Yeah, I do eat a lot of there's a high protein God, I can't think of the name right now. I eat a lot of Greek yogurt with berries and cinnamon and things like that. I can't remember the name, but it's got a lot of protein per serving. I don't think it's the one that you mentioned. I can't
I know
remember
what
the
you mean.
name of it. Um, but yeah, so scoop down some stuff. So I'm definitely not getting enough protein per day either. Um, I do a vegetable shake every morning where I throw in, raw beets, raw celery, uh, arugula. So I do a really good shake, and then I'll add protein to that. But I still think I need to come up with more protein somewhere. So I'll
Most
work on
people
that.
do,
I'll
and
work on that.
ton of
So
recipes online.
I'm going to go to your site, get put out receipts. So tell me more about where you're going to go with. I mean, we covered so many different things. So you do the holistic culinary nutrition, you do the fitness, you do the speaking, coaching, you've got the training. So what's your big focus now? I mean, where do you really see yourself wanting to expand? Is it to take the one method and really expand this and try to get this out there as much as possible?
That, along with, speaking to corporate groups. I was just in, Palm Desert talking to, an executive team at the JW. Had so much fun, and so my talk that I do is called Leading from Energy, and a lot as being in the hospitality industry, I've seen the good and the bad and what works and what doesn't work, and a lot of leaders are leading from stress. They're overworked, they're not sleeping, they're drinking too much, and it affects the whole team. So let's get that executive leader as healthy as we can get, and that's gonna trickle down to the other team.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, boy, that's like one of the last things that corporations even think about, is the health of their well, nobody thinks about it. You go to a doctor and they'll ask you any other question in the world. Have you been vaccinated? No, we got to get you vaccinated. You better hurry up. We got to jab you. What's your blood pressure? What's your temperature? I mean, they never ask, how's your diet? How's your sleep? How's your stress? Are you having sex? I mean, they don't, none of that ever comes up. And if there is a boo boo, like my Achilles heel, I know my one weakness that has caused a lot of my challenges is sleep. I just don't sleep. So that's really something I'm focusing on. I feel I have the exercise and the diet fairly and together, except for more protein. But I mean, really, I mean, corporations, they don't seem to be concerned with their employees' health. Doctors don't seem to be concerned about
Right.
people's health. There's not a lot of places to turn, is there?
And unfortunately, no, unless you know where to look. And I was just, back with my nurse practitioner, and before she comes in, her assistant comes in and says, "Any suicide tendencies?" Check, check, check. Oh, okay, and then maybe we'll give you a pill or something. You know, and sometimes I just answer questions just for sport. You know, what are you gonna say if I said this? And I walked in at Christmas time, the beautiful Christmas tree, and then under it are the gift bags, Louis Vuitton, Prada. I'm like, what about the gift of health? And how much am I paying for my health insurance? So it's just back, which is exciting for me because I will always have a job, and the message needs to get out there. I don't need to be sitting in my nurse's office with her telling me she has, she's depressed. Battles depression. And we tend to look at them for help, but they have a lot of issues too. So I think being really compassionate and understanding and listening and seeing how we can help everyone, especially in hospitality when that's a business that's open 24/7. And I've seen them
You
on
know,
that.
the I feel bad for the doctors and nurses. I mean, they've been put in a bad spot with this Obamacare and how bad our healthcare system and the insurance companies run everything now. I mean, it's just basically our healthcare system is basically just an insurance company system. Big pharma is behind it. Big ag is behind it, and it seems like if anybody wants to step up to fight them, they're bad. It's like, oh, you can't go against the pharmaceutical companies. You have to trust the science, or you can't go against big ag because they're, producing all this great food for us. It's like, no, no, see, no, that's not,
You do
that's
a
not the truth.
180, you do a 180, go a kind of a 180 from what everyone's telling you, you're going to be healthier. And
Always.
for example, I will never get a mammogram. I'm not getting the radiation. So what do? I pay out of pocket to get Sure Touch breast exam, which is ultrasound that goes through the breastbone, goes right up into the armpit area, and what a mammogram won't do. But they won't give me. I'll have to pay. They won't just do the ultrasound unless something shows up on a mammogram.
Mm.
So I'm going to be one step ahead of that. Not do the radiation, do this, and then she comes in, she leans in, she goes, "Well, that's the gold standard." I'm like, "Thank you, but no thank
Who's
you."
gold? Who's gold
Exactly.
standard?
And you know what? I need her. I need her. So I'm not gonna win that battle. I'm gonna pick it. And I know for myself what I need to do to keep myself happy to stay out of the hospital. I mean, hospital medical system is great for emergency situations.
Yes.
But other than that, I'm gonna do whatever I can do to stay out of the system.
Yeah. When I ended up in the hospital and they had to put in the pacemaker and do the other stent, the stuff they had to do to my heart. Yeah, those doctors saved my life. There's no doubt that the surgeon, the nurses, spent 4 days in ICU just monitoring me 24 hours a day. They were absolutely golden. They were wonderful caregivers. They were beautiful people. They were all caring. I didn't have one nasty one. The surgeons were great. The doctors were great. I give them all massive credit. So I can be a little rough on the medical industry, but that doesn't mean I'm mad at the doctors. I understand that they've got 10 minutes with you at the most likely four. They've got to cover the questions and they got to get in and out to the next one because that's what the insurance companies
I
demand, right? The farmers demand. So I don't want to give them too much grief, but you've been awesome, my friend. This is great. I can't wait till we can do an in person and you could give us a cooking demonstration.
Play.
And we'll wear our yoga pants because I rock yoga pants, and we will do some exercise or something. But you've been great. So I can't let you get out of here without asking you my one last little question here. I kind of have two, and then I want you to tell us where we can find all your stuff. My first question is, do you see um, people searching now and wanting to get healthier? Do you see more people, especially I think of our generation, who are searching and wanting to find help and wanting to get healthy? Are you seeing that, or are we still lost in this cloud of it doesn't matter?
They know that it does matter. And there's so much noise and information out there that it's really more important than ever to find that person that you trust to learn from. And I like to say, let curiosity be your best friend.
Mm.
Why are you anxious right now? Why are you wanting to reach for that bag of chips or um that sugary snack? But what's going on over there? Are you my trifecta? My boyfriend used to say, "All right, are you cold? Are you tired? Are you hungry? Because now I know how to handle it." I'm
It's
like,
kind
"Yeah."
of like taking care of an infant. Are you cold, honey? Are you hungry? What do you want? You got a boo boo? Yeah, we just need to take care of ourselves. So my last question before I let you go is, if there's something you want to leave us with before we sign off, something that means something to Yvonne Cosell, something that you'd like to share with everybody, a message, a thought, something that's important to you, um, what would that last message be? What would you like to sign off with today?
This has been my message for day one. Self-acceptance is the prerequisite for change, and I think that embodies a lot.
I love that. Well, I'll tell you what, I love the one method. Own, nourish, elevate. Own, nourish, elevate. I think the more people marinate on that and really dig into that and get into your one method program, um, they're going to see how valuable those three little words are and how important they are to our longevity. Because, like Ada says, I mean, who wants to live to be 100 but have shitty 40 lousy years? I mean, from 60 to 100, just be suffering. Forget about it. So it's not just how long we live, it's how well we live. And that has nothing to do with money, although money doesn't hurt. But I mean, you really have to take care of yourself, body, mind, and soul. So, Yvonne, you've been great. Where can we find you? Where can we get more, Yvonne? How can we get healthier with Yvonne?
So the website, YvonneCosell.com, and then my LinkedIn, or you can see I post my videos for the cooking on Instagram. It's under Health Strategist, Yvonne Cosell, and also Facebook. But and then my YouTube channel,
Love it. Love it. What's the YouTube channel? Is it just your name or what?
Health Strategist. Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Well, this has been great. I feel healthier already. I've got my marching orders. I need to get more protein into my daily diet, more clean protein. Um, I might even try turkey bacon. I'm just not a bacon guy. My wife literally eats a pound of bacon a day. I don't know how she's still alive. She loves bacon. She'll eat bacon wrapped in bacon, topped with bacon bits. Um,
You know what I'll do?
but
I'll do like my Kaizen rice because there's 20 grams of protein, and I'll put a couple eggs in it, like a fried rice, and my broccoli. Done.
I love that. Oh man, I love fried rice, but I stay away
You can
from
cook
it.
all, and then portion it out, slap your eggs in there, and then you're done.
I'm gonna go get some of that stuff. Real quick, because you just made me think of something, and then I just now forgot it. Oh poop! I was just gonna ask you something about that. For the love of Pete, we'll have to do it on the next episode. Yeah, let's see. You're gonna do that. I got to get more protein. We were talking about bacon,
Bacon,
and then
bacon.
you went. I don't know. Holy cow. Another way to get that into my body. But okay. Well, you've been awesome. I'll just wander around in my brain and try to remember what the hell, and then I'll text you.
I'll
But
be waiting to
everybody,
get back to you. Thank you so much for having me, Gary. It's so great to be here with you.
it's been fun. This has been great. So everybody, you were blessed with some time with Yvonne Cosell. She's a holistic and culinary nutritionalist. She's also an expert in fitness and movement. She has this amazing new program. You have to go look for it called One Method. It can whip you up in 30, 60, or 90 days and then continue with your life. But this has been great. There's nothing more important than helping people with their health and helping people feel better. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
You got it, kiddo. All right, guys. Thanks so much. See you next time. Bye.